Our first topic of the lecture today, the biggest mistake women make in relationship. And when I talk about relationship, it's both relationship, marriage, or even dating. So if you have any questions along the way, just raise your hand. And if it's going to be the space, I'll answer it, or maybe towards the end of the lecture, okay? But 2 minutes share, please, so we'll have enough time to cover the first and the second lecture. Thank you. All right, so our society is made right now in such a way that women are so successful. They work, they make good money, they pay their own bills, their mortgage, their car payments, everything. So a lot of women now even question, why do I need men for? And men are the same way, because they have their money, they have their little home, apartment, and they can find a woman to sleep with at the bar, on the internet. They also question, why do I need a woman for? So this is how we're operating right now. Anybody can get a man or a woman on the internet or in a bar to have sex, right? But the relationship and the aspect of a serious relationship, commitment, and marriage is starting to get on the back end. It becomes less and less important. And so I would like to start with today, which mistakes women make in a marriage and relationship. So the question for you, can anybody contemplate what are the biggest mistakes? One, you can think of any, but let's start thinking and contemplating what is the biggest mistake women make in a relationship. Who wants to guess? Go ahead, Portia.
The first thing you said, like the thought permeates. What do I need a man for? That's the first.
Thank you. Very good.
I think maybe it's the biggest mistake that women want to be stronger than men.
Yes, but this is
like to show that she's stronger.
Yeah, but that's about equality and inequality. I see where you're heading. It's definitely huge part of it, but let's keep looking.
I believe that woman wants to change man.
Bingo. Yes, our biggest desire is that we want to change our man. And for those who take notes, I would like for you to write it down with big letters. No one wants to change. No one wants to change, especially a man in his 30s, 40s, 50s. It doesn't matter. They just don't want to change. And then the question for you is, when is the best time for a man to change?
Dating.
Yes, why? Very good.
Because they are not so close.
They're not so close. Keep looking.
Inspired to be better.
Yes.
They try their best, what they think they are, to show to the other partner.
But what is their motivation?
To attract.
Okay, so they're already dating. Why would he want to change? What is his motivation?
The relationship.
You say sex?
Yes.
Only one is it?
Yes.
So sad.
Yes. Because he met you. You're so beautiful. You're so feminine. You're so sexy. He's trying to get to know you, and then he shows all of his good qualities, but his agenda in the background. He wants to make love to you. He wants to have sex with you, and that's a huge motivation. Hi, Paulina, join us. And so before you actually get into the intimate and sexual part, that's the best time to motivate men to get better. And then the question that I have for you, how can you motivate him? So you haven't had sex yet, you've been maybe dating 4, 5, 6 times. How can you influence that change? For those who are single, think.
То есть как можно мотивировать его без секса, да?
Yes, because once you have sex, he lost his motivation, by the way. Why would he want to change? He already thinks, I am the king. I'm such a good guy. She slept with me. That means I'm perfect. Why would he want to change now? So how can you motivate? Hope, but also, for example, you don't like a guy that he's smoking. To you, it's a deal breaker, but you like all his qualities. You've been going out with him for 2 months. You haven't had sex. How can you motivate him to quit smoking?
Say that I don't like smoking man. I love you, but no, I like you. I'm not alive. Nice.
Wait a minute. If a smoking is deal breaker, why have you been going out with him for 2 months?
Exactly.
Okay,
If it's
then it's not a deal breaker if you're still going out with him.
well, and that's where women are, by the way. They're like, okay, I like everything about him, but I don't like that he's smoking. So let me get him, marry him, and then I'll change him. Isn't that true? Isn't that true? But this is how or I don't like that he's greedy. But let me date him and later I will change him. Women have this hidden agenda, by the way. But when can you change him is before you actually have intimacy with him, because he has huge motivation to get you in bed. And so how can you communicate that?
I'm very skeptical. I don't think
Well-
you can change him at all.
If
Or like the
Right
time,
now.
you know, he will change for a time and then he will go back to his old.
I mean, I have
True, like
allergy on
pretend that
smoking,
he's changing.
Stop choking.
Yes, to make sure that I but I have allergy or I feel not. So it's okay for you, but I feel me not very good. So a little bit interesting.
Anichka, join us. Yes, but is allergy a motivation? I have allergy. That's why I like everything about you, but I have allergy. Is it enough for him to quit
It's
smoking?
like not to say direct to him, but to say like I not want you to change. I talk only about myself. Like for me, it's like no.
So, the golden rule of a happy and healthy relationship, because woman is in control of relationship and marriage, is to Anya, right here, closer to us. Educate, inspire for change and educate, and don't put up with bad behavior. So while you're dating, you can say, wow, you're such an intelligent guy. I am inspired being with you. You're intelligent, you're interesting, you're such a gentleman. I feel so happy with you. It just sometimes, if I'll be honest with you, there's just one little thing that a little bit sometimes makes me feel a little uncomfortable. And I hope I'm not gonna hurt your feelings in any way, because I'm so happy with you. We've been dating for 2 months, but sometimes I smell your smoking and your cigarettes, and it makes me feel so sad, because smoking had such a bad memories with me and my parents, because they were both smokers, and every time I smell cigarettes it kind of triggers me. And it would be so lovely if I wouldn't smell the smoking and cigarettes on you. That would make me blessed. And that's it. Leave it at that. You didn't ask him. You didn't go around. You didn't talk about allergy. You were gentle. You were kind. And if a guy really is into you, he now will try to do everything to work on that bad habit. Come closer. But for those who are not dating, we're in a marriage, for example, then my question to you, how can you work and influence? Because all we can do is influence and inspire men to change, because we want them to change and we want them to change for better. But now you're married and you don't like this or that quality. How can you do it in a marriage? Yes.
It's just like a view. What if you say it's turn you off? Like you don't want him if he's doing this. I mean, this is kind of manipulation.
Yes, it is. You see, for every criticism, we gotta put 10 positive восхвалять, praise them. Because, for example, my son goes to kindergarten, not kindergarten, first grade now. He's in school. In 4 weeks that he was already in school, last week he tells me, Mom, you know what I've noticed? All the teachers likes girls. They don't like boys. I say, why you feel this way? He said, I don't know. They just constantly tell boys, don't do this, and don't do this, don't do this, and don't do that. And believe it or not, they're already suppressing, by doing that, their self-esteem. So by the time the boys are men, they already have such a strong reaction to criticism that they block. Their defense mechanism goes so high, they're like, whoa. They don't hear you, they shut down, they're in a defense mode, and they literally, you talk, and they're like, nothing. And so the only way to really inspire a man, anybody else who wants to have any ideas? How you can inspire a man for a change if you've been married 5, 10, 15 years?
To let him know that if he will change something that may make you happy, and advance provide him love, and just let him know that he loved and she believed in him, and that she will be more happy.
The problem here was if, when you started. So I want to give you then a clear example. For example, a man bought you a dress and you feel happy. And you can say, wow, honey, the dress that you bought me is so beautiful. I love the silk, I love the color. Oh, wow, it makes me so happy. Thank you. I love it so much that I even slept while I was napping yesterday. I slept in it because it felt so good, I don't even want to take it off. Now, it doesn't mean that he'll buy you 100 those dresses or similar dresses, but in his mind now, he thinks that's what makes her happy. Appraise him, and appraise him even more. That creates the environment for him to want to do that more. But every time we criticize, it creates the opposite. Yeah? Yeah? What is the second question?
One question, yeah. I understand what we just were talking about, but when I entered, you were talking about smoking, right? So if it's a bad habit, but even not a bad habit, if it's an addiction, I, for example, don't know, because in my situation, no praise is working, no inspiration is working, because I think if it's an addiction, it's some different mechanism working in there. So for me personally, I didn't find the answer yet, like I'm struggling. If you have anything
Yes, thank you. It's a really great question, by the way. When I was pregnant, my husband lost a job, and a lot of Russian, and not just Russian, men in generally, because they're so stressed out, how they numb the stress is by drinking. Some drinking glass of wine, some 2 glasses of beer, bottles of beer, some whiskey, vodka, it doesn't matter. But here I am, pregnant, 4 or 5 months pregnant, and my husband's starting to drink whiskey. A lot of it. And I know in the background, if I tell him no, he'll drink even more. So I started asking him, what's going on, honey? What's going on? What's bothering you? I've noticed a lot of whiskey going on the weekends, and during the week, he's quiet. He doesn't share me day, second, third, fourth. On the weekend, I pressed it a little bit harder. I said, listen, I'm now really worried, and I'm pregnant. What's going on? Because I'm stressed out. Because I'm sharing how I feel. He finally sat down and said, listen, I lost a job. And you're pregnant, and I'm worried. How am I going to provide? I felt his pain that he lost his job and he's drinking. Here I am pouring the whiskey to him. I said, drink. Next day, I'm pouring the whiskey, drink. On the third day, there was no more whiskey.
Oh, wow.
We're doing the opposite. We typically want to take it away. And going back to the real change, which I wanted to talk later, but it's in the space now. If you really want to change someone, you gotta accept them. That's a real love. Full acceptance. Another thing that I didn't like was my husband when our son was 2 years old. Every time he would fall, and he was falling a lot because he's a kid, I would jump and say, "Oh, sweetie, your knee hurts, your tummy, your belly, something hurts, no, everything gonna be okay." But then sometimes I'm taking a bubble bath and our son is falling. And my husband walks very slow and slow. And then he picks him up, he's like, "It's gonna be okay." And I was upset. Why he takes whole minute to get to our son to calm him down? And I would be so upset. I'm like, "Voa, why it takes you whole minute to get our son to calm him down?" And the more I was pressuring him, guess what was happening? He was walking slower and slower. And I'm like, "Oh my God, why? Why my husband is so slow?" So I couldn't accept that he was getting ready to go somewhere, 45 minutes to an hour, that he was walking slow to our son, that he was cooking slow. Everything was slow and it was irritating me. But whose problem is that? Mine. And as I started doing the work on myself, and again, no matter how much psychology I knew, the acceptance wasn't there. And only through spirituality, as I continue, I was diving in deeper and deeper, increasing the meditation and affirmation. Finally, when I got to the acceptance, all of a sudden, my husband still walks slow. He, but it doesn't bother me anymore. I don't even see it.
It's interesting, the thing of that's your problem, or that's my problem. This is coming to me in the last 10 days, the second time already.
Yeah.
And I realized that already, even when it came first time, this is my problem. But the thing is, I don't want to accept it. In my case, it's alcohol. So I don't want to accept it. It makes me feeling disgusting towards him.
Yeah.
And all you're saying, I can agree on some things, which is character thing, bothering, whatever. Characteristics of the personality, but this, especially this thing, I realized I'm not gonna accept. So now the question is, if it's my problem, I'm not gonna accept. Do I just walk away? Do I give it up?
Well, here's something that I'll give you. Great question, by the way, Irina. Thank you. When we cannot accept something in someone, everything that we cannot accept in another person, it's a reflection of who? Of us. And so don't do it for him. There means something that you cannot accept within you, and that doesn't give you peace. Because once you're going to accept yourself wholly, because what he's doing, he's drinking, guys, gotta get. Surface level is stress, but the deep level of why people are drinking, because at the core something is really not working. Is it the childhood traumas that are triggering him? Is the broken marriage or his status at work? Something really bothers him. But he cannot work it through. And by the way, working it through, who is responsible for the destiny and well-being of a husband is a wife. And it's hard to take it on because we can see what is our destiny and their destiny. We are responsible for the whole dynamic of our children, of us, and even the husband. We have such a huge influence on them. And so until we accept ourselves fully, we cannot even look into what's really going on with husband. What at the core it bothers him that I cannot relate and accept. Because at the core we want to reject. That's ugly side of you, I don't want to accept. And that means we have such an ugly side of us that we don't want to deal with. And it's never about them. Never. It really goes back to us. And is there big motivation to really fully accept ourselves? You know, that is the question. Yeah? Yeah? Anything about that?
Can I actually make a comment? I
Yeah.
think acceptance is extremely important, and you mentioned that acceptance is love. And I think accepting yourself is extremely important, and it also shows like how you love yourself. Let's say you want to change something, you want to lose weight. Accepting your body and loving your body is the first step of changing your body, and so on and so forth about other things. So that just kind of came to me. Yeah, I think acceptance is very important. Not just accepting your partner, accepting other people, but accepting yourself first.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So again, the biggest change that you want to see in a man is really start thinking about how can I accept myself, how then I can accept him, but mostly our responsibility in a marriage and a relationship. Again, two major key woman is responsible for: caring for her husband or her man and influencing the change, motivating, creating the environment for change. Because we want to make our men better. But they're lazy by design. They rule by instincts. They're not interested. And it's our responsibility to influence them. Yeah? All right, second. So this was number one. Biggest mistake women make is that we want to change our men, but we want to dominate and pressure them. Second, what is the second biggest mistake women make?
Getting physical too early. Getting physical too early.
But that's about the dating stage. And if we're talking already in a relationship or marriage.
Okay.
Trying to be in his, like trying to provide for the family, for whole family.
Say more.
Financially, make it easy for him. So he knows that he doesn't need to try his best to make sure the family is financially secure. I have example.
I see exactly what you're saying, even though it's not, but I want to address it because it's in a space. Thank you, Alona, because that is another big mistake that we as a women make.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Stepping on that rake.
I talk about it on the first lecture, but I see a lot of new people, and so I want to go over it briefly. When a woman goes towards a masculine energy, and that means she works hard because she doesn't have trust in her man that he will provide and will protect. By default, she starts to move into the masculine. When she moves into the masculine, she feels stressed, she feels overwhelmed, she feels anxious, she feels angry, she feels frustrated, and then of course she makes it easier for him. Oh, bills are already paid, dinner is already served, kids are already taken care of, I even put them to sleep and I bathe them and I clean them and I wash them and laundry is done. What she does is she does the work of a man and of husband and wife, because there's a clear division. Men are responsible for paying the bills, paying the mortgage, paying for the car payments, all of the financial aspects is on them. The woman, when she takes over because she doesn't trust him, she wants to make it easier, she shifts to masculine, she becomes miserable. That's when she gains weight, that's when she becomes insecure, that's when she doesn't have time to go to the gym, eat healthy, go to the nail salon, hair salon, and she's a mad woman that tries to keep everything controlled, but it never works. It's an illusion. And in psychology, I love, one of my colleagues always told me, he said, when a woman goes to work at some point, when she provides for everything, men become so feminine that they are ready to lay on the sofa. And so, if you want a man to go back to work, lay down on the sofa with him. And sometimes it takes 2-3 weeks. But at some point, he'll get up and go to work. Because it's his DNA. And how a man becomes a real, strong, confident man by conquering the difficulties, conquering the challenges. Challenges to us, they make us degraded. Like, I want to call things the ways they are. We as a woman become degraded. It's not sexy when a woman makes $1 million or $500,000. All of this Tony Robbins and all of the courses talking about it, but it's not true. Woman cannot be working like a horse and become feminine and beautiful and happy. It doesn't work like that. Woman doesn't design to work 60-40 hours a day and work at home and cook and clean and go and work like a horse. And a lot of Russian women do that.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because it's like have a controversial effect on me. Like I
Yeah.
see a lot of examples when woman was like taking care of the family and children, and she didn't really care about her husband business or financial situation, and it happened. Some examples like when guy decide to divorce and leave woman without anything, and because she doesn't care about the financial part and what's going on, because she was like more being a woman in a family, and then now she's alone, no job, no money, because all business, all money on his name, and she just sit there with her feminine energy, having nothing.
Beautiful question. Thank you, by the way. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. By the way, when a woman is, again, I'm sorry to call things the way they are. When woman has a lot of fears and she doesn't have a spiritual connection and she doesn't do any kind of spirituality, in the background, even though she is at home and cooking and cleaning, but she doesn't have the real security. By the way, man can never bring you security. At any moment, a husband can cheat and walk away. There's prettier, smarter women. They're out there. At any moment, it could happen. The only security you have is your relationship to a higher power. Right now, I make 0 income. But let's say hypothetically, if husband walks away, I will be okay. I don't have that fear. Because the only security you have is your connection to a higher power. I'll figure it out. But when we put that, if I'm going to become feminine and I'm not going to work and he'll walk away, what am I going to do? We're already putting that fears out there. Most likely he will walk away. Because there's a big difference between femininity, right, and being humble and feminine and vulnerable, and being naive. People are collapsing this. I see women who are so weak and naive, and they don't really see what's going on in the marriage and the relationship from this kind of women who are weak to say what's going on in the family. Men will walk away. When they lose their self-esteem and become like a rag, it's not interesting to men. They will walk away. But for a woman who knows how to take care of herself, her husband and kids, and she operates doing everything, but she has also strong connection to a higher power, men don't walk away from those kind of women. She's in charge. She's in charge of relationship and family. She knows where to pull and where to loose strings. Yep.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, because the thing is, we want to work on them. But we shouldn't work on them. We should work on who? Ourselves. You know, I was doing my preparation upstairs, and all of a sudden I come downstairs here at 9:30, and I know you guys, some of you are going to come early, and I see my husband and our son is laying down here comfortably watching cartoon. Do you think I was happy? I'm like, what's going on? My lecture gonna start in 30 minutes. Move! In 5 minutes, everything was ready. They're like, okay, we're getting ready to leave. They know. Even though I'm feminine, I know how to quickly shift. I'm still in charge. In a degree to where I know how to talk to them. When they're crossing the certain boundaries, I'll put them right on spot. But the rest of the time, I'm late, I'm relaxed, I'm feminine. Dancing with energy. Yeah? Dancing with what's happening, yes.
And I'm looking like perspective. Do you really want to be with a man? Do you want to waste your time on someone who doesn't want to be with you? Do you want to, like, why we have this fear that what we have now, like what's coming, if this relationship will end, we'll not get anything, I don't want to say better, because there's always, it's not better, it's like up and down with any relationship, but we afraid to lose stability, and that's, I think it's a lot of fears we have.
You said it yourself. It's all about fears. And from the last lecture where I explained, we're living in 3 layers, either in ignorance, either in passion, or either in goodness. In ignorance, it's all about fears. Oh, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna waste my time, it's gonna this. If we don't do the spiritual work, we're all living so much fears. What if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? A lot of hypothetical things. And with that, we, by the way, we're not moving forward. We're stuck. How do you call balota? Swamp that pulls you down. We're constantly pulled down. Безнадёга, like hopelessness, a lot of hopelessness. And once we're going to start working on ourselves and we put as a priority relationship to higher being, and for some people, you got to get, it could be just a high energy, to some we call it God, for some it's something universe, but we got to move higher, otherwise it's all fears and they pull down. A lot of it is just fears. Yeah?
Yeah.
Questions? Questions? When you go,
I have a question about your previous point, where the woman is responsible for this whole kind of dynamic of relationship. Now I clearly realized why I'm single and I have no desire to be in a relationship, because I don't want to be responsible.
Thank you.
Being responsible for myself.
Thank you.
Loving myself, accepting myself. I don't want to be responsible for anybody else.
Yeah. And then you just gotta accept, I love being single. I love being alone, and stop dreaming about it. That, I would love to have a man who will take care of me, who will do this and that.
Nothing like that. I don't dream about that. I take care of myself, and I love being by myself, and I love being a wife and a husband, all in one, and taking care of all my needs.
But also consider, Paulina, that we as a human beings can never reach a full happiness being single, because a woman is not designed to live in a masculine energy. For you, it's a comfort zone.
Yeah.
But just consider, right, that we're not gonna, women cannot reach the full happiness if she feels like, I can provide everything for my son and I'll be fine. It's also survival. It's a survival mechanism. Any questions? Yeah?
I have a question about this.
Mm-hmm.
You said like woman cannot be by herself, but what about all these women who decide to be with God and be nun or go to ministry and just...
No, that's different.
It's a different one? Okay.
They desire to have... Okay, in Vedic studies, it's called this way. In Bhagavad Gita, which is like a Bible in Vedic studies, there's many levels of goodness. And in this Vedic knowledge, if you want to reach the highest relationship to God, you sacrifice meat, you sacrifice something else, you do prayer in 1 hour, then 3 hours, then 8 hours. You live for God. And so you can reach the highest bliss with God. And then once you die, you're in heaven, that's it, you're not going to be born again. And that's what they're trying to reach. Or for people in the Christianity, they die with God, that's it. They're almost like saints. We're not like that. Let's not use that as example. We're talking about real people, right? With real problems. Yeah. And I'm talking about for us, real women who choose this. I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't want to be with a man. It's an illusion of happiness. That's a happiness in the level of passion, where the person can buy herself a car, pay for a mortgage, go on vacation, and she'll go through this waves of happiness. She got a new house, she experienced the high, it's good. Then the work goes down because they fired her, she deals with misery. She found another job, she feels happy again. And the happiness is gonna go like this. But it's a superficial happiness on the physical level. It's not gonna be on the soul level. So the breakthrough I experienced this past months, being with you in a group, ladies, now I'll share it anyway, is that I realized all of these years as I was a therapist, I accumulated so much knowledge in the realm of psychology and emotions, and so brain had a lot of information, but brain, that kind of brain, doesn't give you the true happiness. As I'm starting to watch documentaries and reading the sacred scriptures from Vedic studies, my soul started to expand. And I feel so hungry. I'm like, 2 hours is not enough. Now I want 3 hours. 3 hours is not enough. 6 hours. Because our souls are hungry. Because we look at ourselves as a physical beings. But we're not. When you go exercise, it's a good exercise for your physical body. When you go to motivational courses, it's good courses for your mind. But soul is hungry. And soul can be fulfilled if you're reaching out and trying to have a relationship with a higher power. When you listen to spiritual lectures, when you're starting to meditate, when you start to pray and do affirmations, then you're starting to go on a different level. Does this answer? Yeah? We're getting off the topic, but let's go back. But it's in the space, because you mentioned women are sometimes monks. So had to go there for a moment. So the second problem with women that they make in a relationship is they give too much attention to men. So much attention. Here I am. Dinner is ready. Oh, here I am. Let's watch TV. Here I am. Let's do this. And they give so much attention, and guess what? When you give too much attention, what happens? Yes. Yes, men become passive. Do you know, on the average, how much time, if you're married, you should spend together throughout the day?
30 minutes.
One choice, yeah, thank you. What else?
2 hours.
In an average, between 1 to 2 hours. 1 to 2 hours. Men gotta miss you. When you are 2 times a week going out with your girlfriends, and now those 2 times per week he doesn't see you at all, that creates a little bit of miss. Like, oh, where's my wife? I'm wondering, right? That's why you gotta have your life. And when a woman's like, oh, let me watch a soccer with you. Let's watch a hockey. Oh, let's watch boxing. Oh, you know, too much. Or when she wants to go, oh, you're going with boys playing ping pong? I'll go. I can play ping pong too. Oh, too much. You gotta have a distance. Let him miss you. He needs to have his time with boys. You need to have time with girls. Don't be too much in his space. By the way, if anybody needs a bathroom, bathroom is right there next to Irina.
What about when I said 1 to 2 hours right now because of work, staying at home, working?
Disaster. It's a disaster. It's a really big disaster because husband and wife get sick of each other being in the same household. Somebody has to be smart to figure out, okay, let me rent an office, or let me be in a basement so I don't see 8 hours at all my husband, or he needs to be there, or you need to be there. Otherwise, Does anybody has a rubber effect? When you go far like this, you want to get back together. But when a rubber is like this and you're so close, it's like, oh, too much. He's sick of you. Need to have a distance.
Well,
Yeah?
the rate of divorce skyrocketed this year.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
The year after.
A husband and wife is not designed to be in the same household. They see each other, they're like, who is this dog all the time? Or cat. But cat and dog, you're happy because they're wiggling the tail. And husband and wife, when they see each other, they start feeling this sickly feeling. Yeah? Mm-hmm. All right. What is the third mistake that woman makes? Anybody wants to guess?
Hint us. Throw the hint.
Hint? No, but I see what you're going.
Just relaxing. Oh, I'm already completed. I'm married, and I don't want to do anything. And to give him, oh, you should do everything for me, and stop self-developing and studying life. I mean,
Meaning she becomes boring?
Yeah,
She becomes boring?
just to be more involved in relationship, but not in yourself, your soul, your life, and your interests.
That mistake women make, even though I didn't write it down in my notes for today, but you're absolutely right. But it's gonna connect later to another point, which I'm gonna go. But thank you. Yeah. Because when woman loses herself in a marriage, man becomes less interested in her. Thank you for that. But no, we'll go over that maybe a little bit later. Anybody else? What other mistakes?
Control.
Thank you. We're going very right at that. Hardwired to control men everywhere. Everywhere. By the way, question to you. Do you think woman's supposed to control her man? Raise your hand if you think she's supposed to control him. What do you think?
Any kind of control, it will be chaos.
By the way, this is good. This is very good. Woman controls everything. She controls everything, but a man should not know it.
Yeah, I agree.
A smart woman controls quietly, so he doesn't even know. Not smart woman. She controls like this, right and left, and that really turns him off. Yes?
I'm cracking up. When you asked the question
Yes.
about women controlling, I know everyone was silent. And everyone knows that they control everything.
Yes!
That I thought was very interesting.
Yes!
And
Yes.
you sitting there looking around.
Yes!
That I thought was very interesting.
Yes, exactly. I knew, but I didn't want to share, but thank you.
Needed, right?
Yes. The question is, how? By the way, no. For example,
Thank God it's normal.
For example, you control kids and you control husband. For example, if a woman found out a year later that her husband is cheating on her, that means she didn't control her husband.
That's true.
Because a woman quietly, every once in a while, oh, what's going on with the emails? What's going on with the text?
I don't do it, and I'm against it, like really firmly.
I know, and we talked about on the first meeting. By the way, this is masculine energy, and typically you would be more tuned to a man who is in a feminine energy, who would be doing that to you, controlling your text. but I get that. I see what you mean.
Even with my kids, I don't control my kids. I know.
For
what
example,
my,
I get it,
my
Irina.
girls, like they put parenting control on my kids. I think I need to teach them be responsible, but also give them the privacy and my trust.
Stop. I see what you're going. By the way, this is the stand for husbands. That's how husbands should be.
And by the way, I agree with her 100%.
Because you're both in the masculine energy. I get it. why we need to control? Because there's a lot of, no, I'm sorry to be honest, there's a lot of weird people out there. There's a lot of pedophiles. And if somebody does something to your child, it's your responsibility. That's why we really need to check what's going on, where they go, what they visit. We need to check.
Alisa, I think you have to talk to your kids. The kid needs to talk to you, but not you going into the.
No, Irina, you gotta listen.
I'm so like,
I know. I hear your frustration. I totally get it. We can teach responsibility, but the predators out there are very strong, and we need to catch it when all of a sudden somebody starts to show them some sexual parts or talking gently, because they're very start gently introducing sexual stuff that they would not even know. Oh, by the way, what do you do in the evenings? And how do you sleep? And how long do you sleep? So gently, from far away. And then, oh, and how do you get dressed? Oh, what fabric? Oh, really? And what else do you wear at night? You see how far they start. And next thing you know, oh, and I like to sleep naked. That's how pedophiles start to introduce.
But you're assuming that pedophiles will be everywhere and will get your kids.
No, I'm not assuming. I am not assuming. But we gotta be on top of it to see what's really going on with our kids. What's going on? I see so many women who are trusted fully their husbands, and then 2 years later they come, they said, I found out that he was cheating on me for 1.5 years. It's her responsibility. If she would have caught it right away on the first, hold on, stop. Stop. Yes, stop. Hold on, stop. Liza, you guys are loud, but you're not telling me. Stop. Both of you, stop. I can handle it. But calm down your emotions, okay? Stop. And I'll explain. Be open to listen to something else, even though I know that you get your point and you're the way you are. Where was I?
You were telling about, like, if I would call it like 1.5 years earlier.
Okay, thank you. So, if a woman can catch a text on the first or second evening, she can confront it and have such a dialogue that she will let him know that this is not acceptable. But to her, she will see there's a symptom of the problem. There's a problem in the marriage. When a husband or wife starts to cheat, that means something is really not working. And that means there's so many red flags. Now it's time for therapy. Now there's time to work at the marriage. And not come 2 years later, wow, I'm such a victim. He was cheating on me for 1.5 years and I didn't know. And now she will be depressed for the next 5 years going to therapy. You need to fix the problem when it's just starting at the core. And that's how a woman is responsible for relationship and marriage. I don't check my husband's phone every day or his emails, but once in a while when his phone is facing up, and I'm like, oh, he never knows about it. Oh, everything looks good. I have a peace of mind. Because we are responsible to keep everything flow. The reason why you don't like for someone, you don't want to check someone what's going on in their world, because you don't want anybody else to check yours. And at the core, that is the problem. And between husband and wife, passwords should be open.
Yes. When you have a good man, they have no problem.
Exactly. My husband can check mine, even though if he does, he will never let me know.
When he wants to get a password, it's a red flag.
That is a red flag. So we gotta look at that at the core.
When I
Okay?
have my husband's phone, he's like, what are you doing? Get out of there, like playful.
Yes. And if my husband will catch me, I'll say, oh, your Facebook looks so different. You get it? But again, it's playful. It's really playful, yes.
I just want to add, my parents always gave me that total, freedom. And I can tell you, with all my, with my example, I did not tell it to my parents, of course, because I didn't want to hurt them. But there was some situation was very critical where I was either raped or worse. And this is just the nature of the teenager and naiveness.
Naive, yeah.
Naive, yes. So you open to the world,
Yes.
and some bad people can take advantage of you. And just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, and still it can.
But listen. Here, hold on. But here, stop. In one extreme, we go, no, it should be this way. On the other extreme, oh, something fearful could happen. And I'm not talking about none of this. The truth is, it's what at the core is our responsibility. How are you gonna do it gently, not coming from fear? It's only if you have a relationship to spirituality. Then you know at the core that not only you are protecting your son or your daughter, but also you can call it angels, you can call it God. So many other energies are protecting. But you as a mother have to have also responsibility to check. Is everything okay? If my son ever comes from school sad, I have a conversation. What's going on? What happened? And I will gently come from different angles until I find out. If we have only this determined way, we might not see what's between the lines. And it's our responsibility to know, to control. But they should never know about this control. Clear?
Am I the only one who gets tired